We're here. We're alive.
Hi, Deb. Happy Friday. How you doing?
I'm doing great. TGIF. I'm
Yes.
excited. It's the weekend.
Well, that's good. I am too. You know what? I'm happy today. I just want to tell you, I'm really happy today. I don't know if it's because the sun's out or what, but I'm happy today. But there's days when we're angry and we get really angry and we don't know what to do. And there's days where we're just so sad and we cry and we just don't, we go hide in our bedrooms or whatever. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I am going to bring it over to Debbie to start. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Laura. I think we can all agree that we get angry, and I don't know, sometimes we get angry more often than others. Sometimes we get angry at ourselves. Sometimes we get angry at other people. And then there's sometimes we get angry at people that we don't necessarily even know. And that would be like current situations that we're dealing with within, the pandemic and other various things that we won't mention here. But just, I think that we have to learn that that's actually normal and that we shouldn't beat ourselves up for that. But there are the feelings that we get when we have something that really sets us off, and sometimes those are when our body tenses up and we can clench our jaws and we can tighten our muscles and our body temperature, you could just feel it rising in your body. Like, did you ever get that feeling where your face feels like it's on fire and you are PO'd? I mean, people will tell, like my husband will say to me when I'm mad at maybe Mariano for him misbehaving, and he'll be like, ooh, Mimi's really mad. I can see it right now. But we may have anger not necessarily because of something that just happened. We may have anger, you guys, built up from our childhood. Okay. We may have anger in things that have happened to us, and it may dictate a little bit about how we respond. Okay. And we're going to discuss this a little back and forth. Lori and I have talked about some of the proper ways that we can kind of filter and do that we can help get through that emotion, because these last couple of times that we've been speaking, we've been talking about different emotions, and this one is a very strong emotion because sometimes if you don't learn how to just stream and how to process that anger, it can actually backfire and become pretty bad. So with that, Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you and just get a little bit of your feedback on how you've dealt with anger within yourself or actually within maybe your family.
Okay, well, one of the biggest things I just want to say is jaws hurting. We have to get angry because you're crunching your teeth. And a lot of people, they develop TMJ, which causes their jaws to be even locked because of anger, and so that's not a good thing. There's so many things that happen with anger. You can have your heart problems, and any illnesses could flare up and everything. Because when you're angry, you're stressed. It's in the same category. They kind of all work together. But I feel the best way in my past is if you're angry, walk away. Either if it's nice weather, go outside and walk. Just go into your room. I mean, especially if you're angry with somebody. Okay, instead of having that confrontation right there and then, you need to walk away. And that's the same thing with kids. They get angry too. And you know what? Kids, especially, it's okay for them to be angry. They need to feel that feeling. Us parents, grandparents, we want our kids not to feel that, and we stop them right away. But you know what? If they don't feel that, they don't know how to take care of it. So, with kids, you let them have their little temper tantrum, and then you sit and you don't talk to them for about 5 minutes, and just kind of sit there and then say, "Do you think it was right what you did? How do you think you could have handled it a lot better?" And then if you're to say, "Oh, you know what? I think your punishment is going to be so and so on. Maybe you need a timeout." But you need to talk to the kids about why they're doing it. Like, why are you mad? Well, I'm mad because my sister took my racing cars and threw them down the stairs. Okay. Was it right to get angry about that? Or was it right to go to your sister and say, why did you do that? And then come and tell your mom or grandma. You know what I mean? It's just, we got to teach these kids how to step back from the situation a little bit and kind of realize what they did. And I think with realizing what they're doing, they will learn how to have skills to deal with it. So with that, Debbie, I'm going to bring it over to you.
I love what you're saying, and I think one thing that whether it's a child or an adult, that
Mhm.
pent up anger inside needs to come out. And a lot of times when there's an outburst, I feel like, okay, great, maybe they just need to get that out, and then just
Right.
let them have their time out. For us as adults, it's okay to have a timeout. You know what I mean? We need to have a timeout. It's okay. Walk away from the situation. Bite your lip a little bit and kind of get it out. We also have to like do some things maybe that'll help us just in general, acupuncture, massage therapy. I mean, that sounds crazy, but you know what? If you feel like you've been tense and you've got some pent up tense stuff because you're angry, because maybe let me just say this, you're angry because you're cooped up in your home and you can't go to certain things. You can't go to the venues and do the things that you normally would do, a night out on the town or whatever it is. And so, you do build up a resentment of anger, which can lead to all the other things that we talked about, and anxiety, emotion, and all that. So you need to find ways. Exercise is one great one too. Go for a walk, be outside, get some fresh air. Times out. Treat yourself to something that can be. We're also going to talk about sadness. Okay, and sadness. Okay, sadness can lead to anger. Sadness can come from anger. Sadness can come from anxiety. Sadness can come from, just all different things. So sadness is, hormones, okay, that come into your body too, that desire to remain yourself, like a lack of energy, difficulty to move
Mhm.
around and do things that you normally would do, kind of put yourself, you ever have somebody say they're in a funk? I'm in a
Yeah.
funk. I'm in a funk. I don't know. I just can't do, I can't this. I have a couple friends, one friend that I know will just pull away from everybody and you can't get a hold of them. And you're like, okay, that's not good, because they need to be able to get out of that funk. Okay. So with that, Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you and let's talk a little bit more about what we feel and what you feel sadness is and how you've dealt with it.
Well, sadness also could come from somebody that's angry, okay, because and they don't know how to deal with anger, or they're not confrontational people. So a lot of those people tend to have sadness and then they turn to crying, of course, because they have to get out that emotion somehow. Because you got to remember, anger and sadness, they're emotions, and they have to be expressed, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to learn from them, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to move on in your life. So you're going to always have those in the back of your head, what you were sad for or what you were angry for. Um, as far as sadness, sadness could come from all kinds of stuff. Could be because you overate, okay, and you don't feel right because you overate. You know what I mean? So you could get sad because of that. I mean, you could get sad over people and finding out people are having some kind of surgery or they're having a terminal disease and stuff. But there's a lot of sadness in the world. There's sadness in the world. You watch the news today, and there's a lot of sadness, a lot of people fighting, and all kinds of stuff. So that emotion goes inside of you. And you know what happens too with that sadness? You end up taking it out on somebody you love. Anger and sadness, all these emotions get, the person that has to deal with it the most is the person that you are closest to. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
you have to deal with the sadness. Now, as far as sadness, like W saying time out, what I do sometimes, and I probably should do more, is I lay down for a little bit. And you wake up and you're thinking, why was I so sad? Oh, my favorite thing to do is put my Christian music on. Positive music puts your mind at ease and makes things better, I think. If you have some negative around you, you tend to be more sad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put music on, especially a lot of this Christian music, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's so good. It's so uplifting. And I end up being in a good mood. And then I'm able to move on a little bit. But sadness is all over. And that's why we have to come up with techniques to deal with it. All right, Deb, you have anything more on that?
Absolutely, Laura. I love the nail, and you hit the nail on the head on so much of it. You really did. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to read right out of this book that we spoke of, that, I'm talking about, that I'm still reading, and that we're talking, is it says right in here, we cannot eliminate anger and sadness, but we can control how open and kind we are to ourselves when we
Yes,
experience
yes.
these feelings. The strategies designed to help you are what are going to bring these things to the surface and help you deal with them. And so it talks in here about journaling and writing down your feelings. Okay, write down what you're going through, because we can recognize those, but then sometimes we have to review over them and say, okay, what brings us to this point? What brings me to get out of control? What brings me to feel destructive? What makes me, do that? But what can I do to be useful and go along and find those places that to eliminate that, to help, what are the boundaries, or what are the things that I have to work on, and what can I do? And so it's almost like a little chart, or a little thing that you're going to write down, and just keep expressing your feelings. Remember, you guys, that it's okay to feel like, if you need to get on something and talk to people,
Yes.
there's groups. I mean, that meetup.com, I've been going more and more and researching more about things in there. There's so many of them. Last night, someone just told me about another network of groups. I mean, it's not by accident that all of a sudden these groups are evolving. Okay. They're evolving because people like you and me and Lori and everyone else out there has issues and things that they feel that they want to, like, either learn about, be able to express themselves, or find a way to deal with it for their own person or someone within their family or friends. And so, there's all different places. And I can't stress enough, I feel like it's so funny. All these years I've read a lot of books, okay? And it doesn't make me any scholar by far. It just makes me that I can learn from there. But then I didn't read for years and years, okay? Because I just never did. And I made it a point this year to read. It was one of my goals this year. And I got to say, I've been so glad that I have been, that now it's like I carry the book with me. And when I have a few minutes wherever I'm at, in the car, if I do, waiting or whatever, I'm reading. So maybe if you feel like some of these points have just hit a nerve, you're listening to what we're saying, and you're like, holy cow, I really need to do something like that. I need to kind of cleanse my head a little bit. I need to do that. There are books on top of books. I mean, Amazon alone, and if you're not a person that can read, I totally understand that completely. There's a lot of people that do so much better with audio. I just downloaded on my phone 2 days ago an audio I have an Apple phone, okay, and it's a podcast audio type thing where you can access books on there too. So I know, Lori, you love that kind of stuff. Tell me about what you do.
Oh, I could clean my whole kitchen with my audio on. I could even, do everything. I just love it. I still could retain everything in there. I'm not a reader, because when I read, I get really relaxed and I end up getting really tired. So that's why I don't like to read a lot, unless it's a book I really want to read. But oh yeah, those audiobooks. What you do, you don't even have to pay for it. If you have a library card, or if you don't have one, go get one. The library has access to so many of them, and you don't even have to go to the library. You go on there, and the app is called Libby, and you go on there, and you go on there and put what you're looking for, what kind of books you're looking for, and if it's on audio, then you'll come up in audio. If it's in both, it'll show it's in both, because you can get the regular books through them too, and it's free. And they got a lot. I read a lot of books. I mean, I shouldn't say read. I listened to a lot of books, and what was so great? My boyfriend and I went on this long trip to Virginia, and for Thanksgiving a couple years ago, and I actually played my audios in the car on the way, and he was enjoying every minute of them. I was listening to Debbie Maycomer and some of her Christmas stuff, and he was like really into it. And it was so nice for us to be able to do that, and it made our trip go by so fast. So yeah, that's my thing on my audiobooks and stuff. But I do want to say something else. I want to backtrack a little bit. I'm sorry. But I want to talk about men, okay? Because, we kind of geared a lot towards women, but there's men too. Okay, men do cry, and that's okay for men to cry, okay? That means they're very empathy people. They just feel people's feelings. But men have a tendency, when they're angry or they're sad, they go and work out. Okay. And I know a lot of guys in their elder age, you don't want to work out, you don't want to go out for a walk. You got to develop some friends. You got to get on those, you got to get on those meetup groups, or we got to get on something on Facebook or something. There's a lot of great media things out there now. I mean, we're waiting for Brett Reetz's thing to come out on
Mhm.
Talk to Us. And, you know, that's going to be a nice social media thing. But you got to talk to other people, just like women have to talk to other people. Men have to talk to other people, and it's so important. And women, if you don't like the idea of your men going and having friends and hanging out with it, you have to think about it. You want your girlfriends there, so let them have their guy friends. You know, it's really important to them. So, Deb, like that.
I will tag on that. Yes, I agree with you. You know, it's a hilarious. I had a conversation with my daughter this morning. We were
Mhm.
talking about that, about how, like, us women, it's so easy for us to pick up the
Yeah,
telephone.
right.
So easy for us to get on and do this, but sometimes guys don't do it. Now, I'm not talking about every guy, but a lot of guys don't. And we were talking about the creative ideas of how guys can have, like, instead of going out and having a beer or going out and golfing or doing that why can't guys just get on Zoom and do something? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's great because they can relate to each other, because they can talk about stuff. Maybe they won't open up, but maybe they'll start laughing about some of the stuff, that the shenanigans they did when they were
Yeah,
younger, or something
right,
funny.
right.
And then all of a sudden forget about all the anger and stress and all
Yeah.
that. Because let's face it, you guys, I don't really know anybody. I mean, if somebody says that they have a happy, perfect life, I'm sorry, they're lying to you. Okay, no one does. I mean, life throws us punches, and we go through these emotions as we're speaking about, and it's all on how you process and deal with it. And
Right.
if you
Yeah.
need a support system, definitely, if you don't have someone, reach out to us and we'll find you someone, or
Yeah,
just
we
start.
will. We will do
I
that.
mean, seriously, like, we've mentioned this a million times. Lori and I, like, we will have something that's really, like, weighing on us. We'll just pick up the phone or text or say, "What do you think about this?" And we'll just run it by each other. And, you have to find someone, whether it's a family member or a friend or somebody that you can do that with, and, get that out and see, because they can kind of set you back in the right direction with your mind or whatever it is. So with it, Laura, why don't you talk about how excited we are? Today, I think we're at 380. So,
Yeah, we've been getting some new people in every day. We're so excited. And if any of the new people are listening today, thank you for joining us. You're going to love this group. You know, we got a lot of positive things on our thing. We also have a lot of speakers that are going to be on here. We've met so many people that want to be interviewed by us, and we're just excited about it. And, you know what, Annie, and for both of us, we're excited because this is something good to do. We really enjoy doing this. This is awesome. With the pandemic, we were able to do something and enjoy it and actually learn. You know, we're
mhm.
learning too. Like I said, we're not experts on any of this stuff. We don't claim to be, but we we want to learn too because we deal with all these things too. And we're learning so much from our guests too. And I want to thank all of them that have been on so far.
Mhm.
It's just really exciting. So, with that, Debbie, why don't we say, well, have a great weekend. And it's going to be warm. It's going to go into the 50s next week.
Okay, so you guys don't laugh at me, but I'm going to be taking down my Christmas decorations from outside this weekend. They're still out there because
Oh,
they were
wow, that's
frozen in the
fun.
ground. So, but yeah, no, we're excited. And Laura, you hit it. You're right. We are so thankful. And we just want to say thank you to everybody, and just invite some friends to join us, invite some people. So with that, you guys have a really great one.
Yeah, take
Thanks for,
care. Bye.
thank you for spending time with us.
Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye bye.